Today we're going to be working on this 1932 Ford Model B 5-window coupe. This car belonged to my grandfather and he restored it quite a long time ago, and now it belongs to my grandmother, and it needs a few things here and there to be a good running driving car again. And what we're doing today is the exhaust manifold is cracked and the intake manifold is warped and has a pretty bad vacuum leak. So I'm going to see if I can't pull all that off and probably braze or weld up the crack. I'm not sure which yet. And then we'll have to true up the gasket surface and we'll go from there. So here it is off of the car. It looks like these ports are not actually level. I put a straight edge on it. It appears like the very first exhaust port and the very last exhaust port are lower than the rest. So I don't know. It's not like it's a high horsepower motor, so you're probably not, you know, if it's not port matched, I don't think I'm going to be suffering. As long as the thing doesn't have any leaks, I guess I'll be good to go. Let's have a look at some of these cracks that are very severe. That's pretty severe. It wraps all the way up to there. I guess I'm going to go ahead and separate the intake off of it so we can have a better look. No broken bolts today. Actually came apart easier than I thought it would. I was kind of wondering if something wouldn't break. These bolts look like they've been in there for a while. Also need to get a block with some sandpaper on it and run it across them and see just how warped it may be. If it can be remedied, you know, sandpaper and a block, or if it needs to go to the machine shop. Ooh, that is pretty bad. That is pretty bad. Well, I guess the thing to do would be to grind out a notch and probably drill the ends of all the cracks, because that's what everybody says you're supposed to do, so I can give it a try. Let's get started. There, I wonder if that'll do. I ground it out pretty good and drilled the ends of the cracks, and I'm kind of wondering if it wouldn't be smarter just to braze instead of weld, because this thing seems pretty soft, and I'm seeing like a lot of, like, what do they call that, crazing, the fine cracks and things like that. And if it's that soft and you do the whole thing by the book and weld cast like you're supposed to, I wonder if it wouldn't just crack again somewhere else, because it is 90 years old. So I guess I may just braze it, and brazing would be more of a period correct fix. That's what they would have done back in the day, so we'll give it a try. Well, it seemed to flow in there pretty well. I don't think I missed any spots. Guess we'll see. Let it cool and see what happens. Here it is, sanded flush with the intake manifold bolted back to it again. And I've taken a block with sandpaper and ran it across the ports to see how level this is, and it's not bad, but there's some low spots, mainly right here. This was where the vacuum leak came from, so I'm gonna go across it with a belt sander and see if I can't get it pretty flat, so it'll take any unnecessary stress out when you torque the studs down. All right. Not too bad. Let me get the light. It's probably good enough to seal up, and I'll probably take those bolts loose that connect these two together, so that way I have them pretty loose, so that way when they're being torqued down, the studs with the nuts that hold this whole thing on, when they're being torqued down, there's not any unnecessary stress anywhere. I'm going to go ahead and clean it up in the glass beacon cabinet, and then we'll paint it with some high temperature paint. So here it is cleaned up, and here's the paint I'm going to use. It says 1300 to 2000 degrees, so we'll see. I'm really not in love with the color, but I guess it's okay. It's all they had, and it may burn off anyway, so I guess we'll see. It doesn't look as bad as I thought it would, so I guess we'll let it dry and put it on the car and get it running. It's back together and it's ready to try to see if it'll start. I torqued the bolts down initially to 25 foot-pounds. I think that's a good starting point, and then I'll get it running and warmed up and maybe torque them down to 30, something like that. I don't want to go crazy with them. So let's go ahead and give it a try.
Yeah, I thought that might happen. Hang on a second.
Got it running. It was kind of hard to get running for the first time, but it's going now. So I've let it run a little while and then retorqued the bolts to, I think 30 foot-pounds would be good. And so far so good, but it's warming up, so I haven't had the chance to let it idle down to see if the idle circuit works or if it's got a vacuum leak and it's still on the main jet. So we shall see. Get to. Alright, that was quick. That one's quick. That one's quick. Alright, well sounds like it doesn't have any vacuum leaks. It's running pretty good. I guess it worked for the most part, so thanks for watching.